you
You forgot to remind me, Jeff.
know.
Oh, goodness. But none of that has been recorded. Oh, no. Bummer.
um,
So, you know, that kind of thing.
so,
I don't, I'm not sure I'm having, well, maybe I am having problems since I'm talking about it. So,
so when you say beginning, do you mean the grasping sparrow's tails?
yes, yes, yeah.
Okay. Um, so why don't you? You could both do it, but I'm going to look really at Bill. Uh, Flow through that beginning all the way up to the follow and focus after um, White Goose.
Okay.
Okay. um, I'm trying to think how to verbally do this. I want you here with my hands on you.
Yeah.
um, so, starting with that first part,
Yep.
I feel like, and I hate to say this way, but it feels like your arms don't have purpose.
Okay.
They're you don't want them tense, but on the other hand, they have to have a very clear intention. Um, and I don't know if I can. I'll try to do what I think I'm seeing with your movement, just to
Okay.
kind of help you understand the difference. So I feel like you come to here and it's kind of like that, and then it's this. It's just boom, boom. You're not sure what to do there,
Okay.
and then here, um, again, it's still pushing the hands, and it feels like you are much too horizontal with the arms at that point. They're still on a slight angle,
Okay.
do push downward. So, um, I don't know whether it's being that I've not been clear about what your intention is here. Um, so I'm going to try to be clear about that. Maybe I can help you understand that. So um, as we come here, two things are happening. Actually, actually, the energies here are Peng and An. Um, the two arms are really not the same, but this arm is coming upwards and expanding out. This one actually is pushing downward at the same time. Um, but you don't have to really worry about that. I'm just trying to give you a sense of what's happening here. So there is a real clarity in that movement. It's not limp. It's, I want my arms to go here. I want them to be here. But you're not completely forward yet. And what I've talked about in the past of slowing down, getting, when you get to this point, getting the in and out, you have to really take your time in incorporating that into the body, because otherwise you can't do it more quickly with any clarity. And you want to keep the body rotating all the way through to here. It cannot stop. And then here, you're going forward and in, and the out is not driven here. It's not, it's not, it's not even coming from the shoulders. It has to come from the scapula, expanding that energy. You're sending energy out. We're not really interested in, particularly at this point, in physical force. There is energetic force is what we're trying to find here. So really trying to be really clear about what your intention is with each one of these. So here, 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 here. Did I create questions or did I help?
No, that was helpful. Thank you.
You created a question for me though. When what I'm unclear about is how or at what point, as you're coming around, you said the left hand is Pong and the right hand becomes on. At what, how is it on if they're both moving up and it feels like expanding? Is there a point at which the right hand is also Pong but then becomes on?
Not really.
Well, how is that energy on then? Because I never pictured it that way.
Uh, well, first let me say that you have to let go of any sense that the hand has to be in a specific position for any energy.
Okay.
Because actually, um, that push, what we refer to as push downward in translation, the on energy, can actually be expressed in any number of directions.
Okay.
So that's a misconception we often have, is that a and energy only can go in one direction. That's not true of really any of the energies.
Okay.
So, um, and in this form, the on energy in that arm is pretty hidden.
Hmm.
I mean, this simply because of the shape of the form and the smallness of the form eventually. um, it's the energy that you choose to express that is important, not what the arm is physically doing.
Okay. So, well, what is the intent then that differentiates? How is the intent different between the two arms if we're talking about what it is we are trying to do with the energy?
Um, so, are you asking a Marshall question, or are you asking?
Yeah, well, I guess that might help clarify it actually. So, I guess I am. Yeah.
So, again, that sense when you think about two hands coming into the center anywhere, and clearly here they are coming in towards the center.
Yeah.
So this one is deflecting away. This one is actually deflecting down. If you want to try to think of it that way, or uh, certainly away in a different direction.
Okay.
Um, because what you're doing is making space to apply this.
Right.
So that first movement is not is principally opening up your opponent to be available to the push.
I mean, that gives me a whole different way of looking at that particular part of wrestling, Pharaoh's tale.
Yeah.
And differently, I guess I don't know if I was lazily looking at it as both arms just doing the same thing or not really ever thinking about it or what, but I guess I mean it does make sense that it
Yeah.
can. It's just the actual physical movement is so small and subtle. I never really noticed the difference between
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
direction of the two hands, and
And
what they were doing. But that now that you've explained it more, it actually does. It makes a lot of sense.
yeah. There's no reason why you should have been aware of that. I was not, you know, to get into the energies is another whole. That's another whole piece of this.
Right, but it's also, as we go on and we look at these postures over and over throughout our study of this form, we break them down more and more into the smallness of them, and that's why stuff like this helps to, even though it's the first one we learn, it's
Yeah,
still good to revisit it for the fourth or fifth time because I didn't know this.
yeah, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, Bill, do you want to try those first two movements again?
Okay. Uh, Two things. One, I do have to leave at 11. And the other one, uh, so G is the push.
Yeah.
Um, U is
It,
what?
roll back is
Roll
the
back.
it's often translated. Um, I very much like Bruce describes the energy of blue as absorption.
Okay.
So you are absorbing that energy and allowing it to go by you so that you can come back with on.
Okay. The whole world of difference.
Yeah,
Because I've been, I guess, using you to push energy out.
there. Well, as I demonstrated um, in the Yang style, that clearly there is a significant outward first, usually, but not always
Okay.
in Lu. So um, it depends on the situation. Depends what you're dealing with.
Okay.
Um, but uh, I mean, here again, we have that um, situation that in this very small form, that there is, there is, as you go into it, a little bit of out and then in. And that in continues then into on. So um, just as when you go into the Yang style, you have ward off and outward twist and extend and bend in. So here you have um, out into G, and then a little out and then in immediately. The in is stronger here. It actually in the Wu style, in this posture, the Yang part of that movement is very brief. It's just boom, boom, and then you're back in, and the in is where you're absorbing that energy so you can send it back.
Okay.
Um, so the other thing I guess I would say in that was better. That was definitely better.
Okay.
I think the other thing I would say is to try to connect everything together, because what I'm seeing is Peng, Ji, Lu, on. I mean, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4 instead of 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you follow me
Okay.
there?
Yes, I do.
And it can be. It doesn't have to be 1, 2, 3, 4. It can be 1, 2, 3, 4. You
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
So if you slow it down and work on giving yourself time to make those transitions and to at least intend those energies, I think it will be easier.
Okay.
I feel like you're rushing through at the moment,
Okay.
but you're making headway.
Thank you.
it it is 11. I'm sorry you have to go.
Yeah. Sorry. Doctor's appointment. But
Oh, am I ever familiar with that? Okay. Well, we'll see you tomorrow.
yeah, yes, and I'll see you next week, Jeff.
Very
Yeah.
well.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we have class next week, not the following.
Right. Right. Got it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Take care.
Yeah, you too.
So for you, Jeff?
Um, do you want me to do that same part? Did you see
Well,
me
why
doing it?
not? Yeah, since we're working on that, let's look
Yeah,
at that.
I'm looking at it differently now that I'm thinking that there's a little bit of on in that first part. So,
So I felt like I wasn't seeing very much in the way of bending and twisting in those transitions into G and U and non. So really, you have to let that be there. Uh-huh. That was better.
it felt a little bit better.
Yeah. Hmm. That felt even better.
It did, but I forgot the extra drawing in it before.
I know. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's still I have to remember mentally to do it.
Yeah. So one of the things I would say is taking the time to feel the the bending and twisting before you move can be
Okay.
really beneficial and letting you flow into those.
Okay.
So I would play with that.
Yeah, that's good. I will. Okay.
Are there other sections that? Um,
I think I'm okay for now. I've got a lot to work on.
okay.
Always a lot to work on.
Well, there
Okay.
is. It just
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't um, have the recording turned on.
Well, that's okay. Maybe we can do it again next week.
Yeah.
That helps when I flow on my own to hear you saying it as I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
And as we move on through the classes and you do newer ones, I use those newer ones.
Yep. Okay. Well, uh,
All right. Thank
have
you.
have a good week.
You too. Yep.
Good to see you.
You too. Are you done recording?
Um, I can stop it.
Yeah. If you wouldn't mind turning it